on a regular basis, I have people that come to me thinking that they're in a relationship with an avoidant, and come to find out that they're actually in a relationship with a narcissist. Now, it can be very confusing because a lot of the behavior can overlap. They both can gaslight, they both can stonewall, they both can cheat, they both can discard, they both can manipulate, pull away, distance. But there are some differences. Now, keep in mind, a narcissist is much more likely to put you through an extended devaluation phase than an avoidant. Avoidants, well, they can definitely deflect, gaslight, self-sabotage the relationship. But with a narcissist, there is a particularly high level of cruelty and coldness and a lack of empathy that far exceeds what an avoidant will show you. During the devaluation stage with the narcissist, and this phase can actually last years, the narcissist is constantly one-upping you, criticizing you, finding fault in everything that you do, and you try harder and harder and harder to please this person. But no matter how hard you try, it's never good enough. It's just never good enough. Now, an avoidant, they can self-sabotage and do things like find fault in you to try to justify why they're pulling away from the relationship, to try to justify why they're running away. But there is a particular lack of empathy that comes from a narcissist. And a narcissist is much more likely to do things like triangulate, involve others into your drama, compare you to other people, make you compete with outside influences. They're much more likely to humiliate you, belittle you. They're much more likely to endlessly gaslight you. It's in a much more extreme version of these behaviors for somebody who's narcissistic. Also, avoidants, they can feel love and they can feel empathy. Narcissists, they don't love and have a very low capacity for empathy, if any at all. There is a really, really big difference in the intent, too. A narcissist, their intention is to get narcissistic supply. Supply is the attention, affirmation, adoration, and attention that a narcissist feels entitled to from anyone in the world, anytime they want, wherever they want. An avoidant, they actually long for love and emotional intimacy, but they fear it at the same time. They have such deep fears of abandonment, rejection, engulfment, that they pull away from relationships even though they actually want the relationship. Their fear overwhelms their desire for it. So avoidants behave out of fear. It's very fear-based. When an avoidant discards you, it's because their fear has overwhelmed them to the point where they shut down and run away. It's still a choice though. Narcissists, on the other hand, they grow bored of your supply and they're off looking for new supply. They're looking for a new shiny toy because narcissists are always seeking supply. They don't run from fear. They run away because they're done with you. They're bored of you. They want the next new thing. And the narcissist never had the capacity to love you to begin with. Now, both avoidance and narcissists can love bomb in the beginning. With a narcissist, it is pure manipulation. Narcissists view relationships as transactional. Now, in the same way that you go to a store to buy a loaf of bread, you give the cashier some money, they give you the bread. It's a transaction. The narcissist, they want the supply from you, so they give you the love bombing, so you give them the supply in return. It's a transaction. But none of the love bombing is ever real from a narcissist. It is no more real than an actor playing a role. Avoidance, on the other hand, they've spent a lifetime suppressing their emotions, bottling it up. And what happens in the beginning, in the infatuation stage, is all this dopamine and oxytocin is making the avoidant feel good. They're wrapped up in it. They're wrapped up in the limerence. They're wrapped up in it like a romance novel, like a rom-com. And they are just letting all these bottled up emotions pour out. The avoidant actually means the love bombing in the moment. The narcissist does not mean a lick of it. Now, both can be very, very alluring because you're getting all this attention and validation from this person who is making you feel like you're the center of their world. But there is a much different intent. When a narcissist discards you, they can actually intend to hurt you because they can often get supply from seeing you in pain. When they see you suffering, it means that they're relevant and they have power over you. And narcissists love power and control. So when they see you squirm, it makes them feel good. An avoidant doesn't intend to hurt you. That's not their goal. They are running for self-preservation. It's dysfunctional, but that's why they're doing it. The avoidant's goal is not to hurt you. They can show a lack of empathy, but it's because they are shutting down, they are suppressing their emotions. The narcissist doesn't show empathy because they simply don't have the capacity to. They don't care. That's the difference. After the discard and there's been a period of no contact, the avoidant can truly begin to regret how they treated you and feel remorse and guilt. The narcissist never will feel remorse and guilt because they're not sorry. If they ever do say they're sorry, it's only for manipulative reasons. They want something from you. So the intent is the biggest difference between a narcissist and an avoidant. But typically with a narcissist, the behaviors are much more extreme. The gaslighting is more extreme. The psychological abuse is more extreme. Narcissists love to use the silent treatment. They love to withhold sex and intimacy as a form of punishment. Narcissists, they weaponize your past traumas. If they know something about you that was a past trauma or pain, they will use it to gaslight you and make you think you're the problem. Oh, you're upset because of this trauma that happened to you. Look at you, you're crazy. The avoidant typically will not weaponize things like that. Now, the avoidant can run away and they can cause themselves to become distant and pull away, but it's out of fear. It's not out of punishment. When the narcissist does it, it is a psychological punishment. So the intent is the biggest difference, and then all the behaviors are much more extreme, much colder, and much nastier with the narcissist. And here's the bottom line. Somebody who's just avoidantly attached, they can heal. They can become secure. I see it all the time. It takes a lot of work, and many of them don't do the work, but the ones that do the work can heal and change. Narcissists, on the other hand, they don't change. And that's because narcissists do not have the desire to self-reflect. They just don't do it. They don't self-reflect. They can't take accountability. Everything they do is somebody else's fault. Avoidants struggle with self-reflection as well, but they are capable of it. And when they do self-reflect, they can begin to heal and become better people and better partners. So an avoidant can change, a narcissist simply is just not going to change. The way they are now is the way they're always going to be, and the same cycle of love bomb, devaluation, discard, and Hoover is when they suck you back in. That cycle will happen in every relationship with every person that the narcissist is in. An avoidant can actually pump the brakes and heal and learn to have a healthy relationship. Either can be very traumatic and have traumatic endings. But if you're going through an extended period of time where you are being devalued, you're being one-upped, you're being constantly criticized, you're being shown a lack of empathy, you're being manipulated, you're being gaslit, you're given the silent treatment, you're being humiliated, degraded, odds are you're in a relationship with a narcissist, not somebody who's avoidantly attached.